Hey everyone, welcome to Home and Loans with Elite Mortgage. My name is Lazaro Toledo, and I am a mortgage broker and owner of Elite Mortgage Advisors. And we are doing this type of mobile podcast with realtors and past clients so they can share their stories and their experiences, whether they were good or bad, to help you guys as future home buyers, whether it's your first house or your 10th house, help you guys get a better experience and hopefully a better service down the road and avoid the headaches that they had. So, a little bit about me. I have been in the industry for about 3 years, a little over 3 years. And before this, I was in insurance, I was in basketball before this. And I decided to do mortgages once I found out how the industry was, because I think it's a problem that is very, very common where there's a lot of bad loan officers in the industry. And even till this day, I still see it. And I think I can provide a better service and better care than a lot of people are receiving. And the point of my company is to do the same, where we're going to provide the best advice possible. And at the end of the day, you get a product and service that you're looking for and helps you accomplish your goals as a home buyer. And I'll share this quick story actually. I talked to somebody yesterday. They were trying to buy a house in Texas, which I am not licensed in Texas at the moment. Will be in the future, but not right now. And uh, the previous loan officer that he had talked to told him that his monthly payment was a certain amount. And I think he told me it was about a month in the process already. When they got the final number, the monthly payment was actually a lot higher, right? Like 500-600 bucks higher. So when we kind of looked at it and looked at everything that he was saying, did a quick numbers check, let's say, I don't know what really happened, but from my perspective, it seems like the LO they was working with in Texas uh, quoted him a number without including taxes and insurance. And even though I'm not licensed in Texas, I can still see the numbers. And this is a referral from a family friend that wanted me to take a look at and give him a second opinion. So I did that, and like I explained to him, I don't know why the LO would do something like that, but the number that he was quoted as his monthly payment will be what his principal interest was on that house. Just that, right? No taxes, no insurance included. So I think that shows how some LOs are either bad LOs, maybe they don't have the knowledge or the skill set, whatever it is. And this is a big decision for people. So it is very important that we get this right, because personally, I know that losing a house can put a big financial strain on you as a family, and it could really hurt your family. So one of the hardest things, or maybe the hardest things I think in the industry, is that, at least from a mortgage perspective for us as a loan officer, is figuring out the problem of how do we accomplish your goals as a home buyer, right? I think every home buyer has a solution to their problem. The question is, how do we solve it? Sometimes it might be something simple where we can solve it in a day or two. Maybe we just need an extra documentation. My advice for anybody trying to be an LO is, or start to be an LO, is I think you have to have a problem solving mindset. You have to have the skill set to talk to people and interact with people and relate to people. You gotta have patience. Uh, every client is different. Every referral partner is different as a business partner, and there's going to be things outside of your control, and you're just going to have patience and be able to solve those problems as best possible. I think it's also getting people to trust you, right? A lot of people you're probably not going to meet, at least before you do a deal, and they have to trust you either through text, phone calls, emails, and you got to earn that trust, and that's very hard to do, especially if you're going after referral partners that already have an established relationship with another loan officer. So you got to be able to really, really distinguish yourself. I actually had a transaction just recently that closed last month. That it was a good transaction. all the way into the end. The buyer is a great buyer, very understanding buyer, and same thing with the realtor. And really, it was not a hard loan; it was an easy loan. There was really nothing unexpected. It was a smooth sailing loan. And at the end, the day of closing, just a Wednesday, in the morning, I think we're going to be closing later in the afternoon, getting ready for taking care of some business to get ready for that closing later in the day. And I get a call from my processor who helps me get all these loans done. And she tells me that the lender called her. So our representative with the lender told her we cannot close that Wednesday. And we were all ready to close. Money was sent. Closing package was out. And it was a shock to me, really to everybody in the deal. And the reason we couldn't close was because there was a repair request on the appraisal, meaning there was a couple of things that needed to be repaired based on the appraisal report, and that never got taken care of. And we got clear to close, which is the final approval from a lender for us to go ahead and finalize everything. Final numbers were done, so it was something that nobody had caught. It was completely overlooked by everybody, and like I told the realtor and I told the buyer and everybody involved in that transaction, regardless of what happened on the back end, I take responsibility for that because the mortgage side is the side that I lead. And, it's a hard phone call to have with the realtor, with the buyer, with the title company, and with everybody and tell them what happened. Basically, what happened is the reason that was missed on the appraisal report is that with this lender, they provide like a summary up front once they initially get that appraisal report. And I know that summary not to be accurate. So we were waiting for the full report. And in the meantime, I was waiting to get the full report sent to us. The lender's underwriter cleared any appraisal condition, right? Because by the time they sent us the full report, they've reviewed it. So when we go in and see that we have everything regarding appraisal cleared, meaning we don't need to worry about it, it just went over our heads, really. It's really all that happened. And then on the lender's side, that appraisal repair request normally is something we got to do before getting the final approval. But in this case, for whatever reason, in their system, it was sent towards the end as a funding condition, meaning they allow us to close, but they won't wire any money until they receive proof that was done. So we can sign documents, but no money can be transferred. And it's never happened that way. Me and my 3+ years of experience, I've never seen it, never heard of it. Although they have 20 years of experience, never seen it either. We don't know if it was a glitch in their system. They looked at it internally as well, and really we don't know why that happened. But it's not supposed to. Even they told me that's not supposed to happen. So it was kind of like a fluke tech glitch, and that's why nobody saw it, since it wasn't in its proper place. But I still go back to, like I said, knowing that their summary is not accurate. I didn't review that full appraisal report. I just trusted that that condition was clear and we were good to go. And that's where my mistake happened. And that's why I said it was my fault. And luckily for us, we got the repairs done, the sellers did. And after a couple of weeks, we were able to close, and the buyer was happy, and the buyer agent was happy. And like I said, they were very understanding, probably more than I would be personally if I was in their shoes. So I appreciated that a lot from them. I think the market is in a good spot for a potential home buyer. I think we are seeing a little bit of a correction, a little bit, maybe, in the sense that homes are starting to be listed longer, maybe going to pre-COVID level where homes are maybe on the market on average for 6 months instead of about a month or so that they were before, or for the last couple of years. So I think things are balancing a little bit out. However, from a buyer's perspective, some prices are dipping a little bit here and there, nothing huge, but maybe like 5%, 10%, something like that. And so that's going to help you get into a house with a lower price point. And also, from a buyer's point of view, a lot of sellers are paying for closing costs right now. So whatever that number is for your legal fees, to pay taxes, property taxes, transfer taxes to the state of Florida, and so forth, sellers are paying for it or paying a good part of it. So that helps keep more money in your pocket when you're buying a house. In a different market, that might not happen. So that's a benefit that you as a buyer have right now. And regardless of what happens, right? Really, nobody knows what's going to happen, neither myself or anybody else. If somebody says they do, they're lying to you. Go the opposite direction. Um, Real estate was always going to appreciate over time, right? 10, 20 years down the road. So if you're planning to have your house for 5, 10, 20 years, then, just buy it and just wait. And it's going to be worth more down the road than it is today. So I think in order to be successful, especially in the company culture that we're trying to establish, I think first and foremost has to be somebody that's honest and ethical. If you're not honest or ethical, we don't want you. And if you're here with us and you do something like that, we're going to fire you immediately. I think it has to be somebody that is hardworking. And going back to what I was saying before, you have to be a problem solver, somebody that can relate to people and care about them. At the end of the day, these are people's lives that you're impacting. And you want to guide them in the right direction and give them the best possible advice that you can offer in that moment for their specific situation. If you're not a person that can do that and all you care about is the money, or I don't know, maybe becoming some type of social media influencer in the industry or something like that, then that's not the place for you. Um, I'll share this real quick. My family lost everything in 2008, 2009 when all that happened. And it took us 10 years to recover. And so I know how bad financial decisions can really impact somebody. And and that's why you have to care for these people that you're helping out. I think something that makes us different, as me personally, as a company, is going to be, I think honesty is part of it. I think that's a big one. Like me admitting to that mistake that I had before. I've made several mistakes and I'll continue to make them, and hopefully never that big again. But is solving those mistakes in a efficient manner as quickly as possible, and not putting the blame somewhere else, right? Taking responsibility for what happened. I've always said that, and I live and die by that. So I think a lot of people, especially in this day and age, are afraid to admit mistakes, take responsibility for their actions, and I think that's a big, big thing in our industry. Um, I think also the caring part. Not everybody's going to care as we do and as I do. I think servicing is a big aspect, meaning you're doing the best possible job in a timely manner to get these deals from your qualification part of the process to the closing table. So that family is happy, they can go celebrate, move into the house, and do what they got to do and move on with their lives. We're not trying to drag anything out. We're trying to make the best deal possible for every single home buyer, and hopefully help them accomplish their dreams and their goals along the way. If I weren't a loan officer, I think I would probably go back to basketball. I think after I left insurance, or the reason I left insurance was to do this, to become a loan officer. But I think if this, let's say, does end up working somehow for me, probably basketball, I'll try and go back and start all over there. Uh, I don't like doing social media at all. I always say I was probably born 100 years too late. I should have been born 1900. Um, I really wouldn't use social media at all if I didn't do this. But I think it's going well. I have somebody that helps me out, and she's been great. And hopefully we can keep building on this and building as we get more people in the company as well. No, I have no rituals. I just look at it, numbers tell me the truth, and we go from there. There's no rituals at all. I mean, maybe I'll when I pull their credit, I'll say a prayer when I pull their credit. That's probably the only ritual I have. I had one weird transaction where this home buyer, he was kind of responsive at first, right, where we were getting qualified. I even met him at a coffee shop, got his documents, all that, met him in person. And once we get under contract, I call him, I message him. Kayla, the person that helps me with the processing the documents, all that stuff, message him, calls him as well, and he doesn't answer. and he just like went cold where he did not answer at all. I don't know why. This is for 3 4 weeks that it took to close this deal. He would not answer us. I think he finally answered like one time 2 weeks after we first went under contract. So that was weird. Had to get the realtor involved. It's one of the few ones where I had to get the realtor involved and be like, "Hey, this buyer's not answering. We need your help to uh, to be able to close this deal. If not, we're not gonna be able to get to the closing table." And thanks to her help and getting in touch with the buyer, he finally responded to her, and then he would send her the uh, the documents, and then she'll send it to us. So that was a little bit of a weird deal there. Well, what motivates me and energizes me, if I start feeling a little bit down or anything like that, I just do like 10 push-ups. I just stop what I'm doing. I do 10 push-ups, and that keeps me going. I don't know of a particular phrase or anything like that that would motivate or represent me, but there is one that I think has always stuck in my head. And I'm paraphrasing. I don't know exactly what it is, but basically, regardless of what you do in life, um, you are either in or out. There's no such thing as in between, right? So you either have both feet in or you have none. And I think I try and do my best to do that every day, especially in the business that I'm in and helping buyers out. I'm all in and helping them out as much as possible. All right, and this just was a quick, brief story about who I am, about my company, and please stay tuned to future episodes. We're gonna have realtors and past customers as guests, so they can share their experiences, their stories, and hopefully, you guys are able to learn from these videos, and hopefully, it'll help you guys out as you're trying to buy your house down the road.